This is I Probably Shouldn't Say This, the podcast where we sit with the stories that stop us mid scroll, the ones that remind us how quickly life can change. I'm your host, Cindy, and today's episode is one of these moments. A global sports headline that turned into human tragedy involving fame, loss, survival, and a road that changed everything in seconds. Anthony Joshua, two-time heavyweight world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet, was involved in a serious car accident while traveling in Nigeria. The crash happened in the late morning hours on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway, a busy stretch of highway known for fast traffic and long distance travel. Joshua was riding in an SUV with members of his inner circle, people who weren't just colleagues but family in the way athletes often define it. According to early reports from local authorities, the vehicle attempted to pass another car when control was lost. The SUV veered and struck a stationary truck parked along the roadside. The impact was severe. Two people in the vehicle were killed instantly. They were members of Joshua's team, men who had trained with him, traveled with him, and stood beside him through victories and defeat. Their deaths were confirmed at the scene, and the names were later released as part of an official investigation. This wasn't just an accident involving a celebrity. This was a moment where real lives were cut short, far from the cameras and far from the ring. Joshua survived. He was seated in the back of the vehicle and was conscious when emergency responders arrived. Footage that later surfaced showed him shaken, visibly injured, but able to move with assistance. He was taken to a hospital in Lagos for treatment and monitoring. Medical staff later confirmed that his injuries were not life-threatening and that he was in stable condition. For many fans, the word stable brought relief, but stability doesn't erase trauma, especially when survival comes hand in hand with loss. Their reactions were immediate and emotional. Messages poured in from fellow boxers, promoters, athletes, and fans across the continent. Condolences were sent to a family of victims. Support was offered to Joshua, not as a fighter, but as a human being processing shock and grief. Nigerian officials also addressed the incident, acknowledging both the loss of life and the renewed attention on road safety in the country. This crash has reignited conversations about traffic safety on major Nigerian highways, particularly the Lagos-Ibadan corridor, where speed congestion and roadside parking have long been concerns. But beyond policy and headlines, this story lands differently because of who was involved and because fame did not protect anyone inside that vehicle. Anthony Joshua had been in Nigeria following a recent return to the boxing ring and was expected to resume training for future fights next year. These plans are now understandably on pause. Right now, the focus is on recovering, mourning, and investigation. No belts, no matchup, just healing. Stories like this reminds us how thin the line is between the life that we're living and the ones we could lose in an instant. That's why we talk about them here, even when it feels like I probably shouldn't say this. I'm Cindy, and this has been I Probably Shouldn't Say This. Take care of yourselves and each other.